In the news this week, Wales' smacking ban prompts activists to push for a law change in England. Former Cabinet Minister David Davis warns the government's online safety bill risks delivering a devastating blow to free speech. And the Prime Minister is commended for affirming the overwhelming importance of biological sex. Hello. Parents in Wales will now be criminalised for giving their child a mild smack. As the ban came into effect, campaigners took the opportunity to push for a similar restriction on family life in England and Northern Ireland. The new law means parents will no longer be able to tap a toddler on the hand without fear of arrest, prosecution, and a criminal record. The NSPCC led calls for more parents to be criminalised for reasonable chastisement, citing the approach taken in Wales. But Simon Calvert, spokesman for pro-parent group Be Reasonable, told BBC Wales the government had misled the public.
The First Minister at the time, Carwyn Jones, said, this is not about criminalising parents. The previous Children's Minister says this is not about criminalising parents. The guidance, the consultation said it's not about criminalising parents. And yet here we are, the law is now in force, and the official guidance from the government says that if you see someone smacking a child, you should call the police, and that the parent could get a criminal record. There are lots of people that don't like smacking who will be very concerned to hear that parents are going to be criminalised for it. I think there are a lot of people who perhaps supported this change in law on the basis that it wasn't criminalising parents, who now find out that they've been misled.
David Davis has branded the online safety bill dangerous and authoritarian. The former Brexit minister said the bill risked becoming the biggest accidental curtailment of free speech in modern history. It will make Silicon Valley even more likely to censor people, afraid as bosses will be of being fined. He remarked that he was particularly worried about censorship of legal content with limited scrutiny. The definition of what constitutes legal but harmful will be covered by secondary rather than primary legislation. That gives the current and future Secretaries of State the power to change it with little or no accountability. Mr Davis, a staunch defender of free speech, said such censorship without oversight gave him particular cause for concern. This raises the prospect of the law shifting, further eroding free speech without proper parliamentary scrutiny. This is unacceptable. If we really think something needs to be banned online, we must debate it in Parliament as a whole. Boris Johnson has said biological sex is overwhelmingly important when considering transgender issues. The Prime Minister was responding to a question from Angela Richardson MP, who asked how young people confused about their gender could be better supported. Her question was prompted by the publication of an interim report into the state of the NHS's gender identity clinics by the Cass Review, which called for a fundamental overhaul of services.
I think when it comes to distinguishing between a man and a woman, that the basic facts of biology remain overwhelmingly important, Mr. Speaker.
Controversial pro-trans lobby groups, Stonewall and Mermaids, were quick to criticise the Prime Minister's remarks. But Mr Johnson's answer was welcomed by women's rights group Fair Play for Women, which praised his common-sense answer. And finally, the mother of a baby boy given only a 15% chance of survival has spoken of her delight as she welcomed him home. Baby Lucas, weighing just 1 pound 3 ounces, was born at 23 weeks and 4 days, 3 days before the abortion limit, after mum Sarah Charlton went into very early labour. At birth, Sarah described him as looking no larger than the size of a biro pen. Despite suffering 6 different infections, 2 collapsed lungs and sepsis during his 142 days in a neonatal unit, Lucas has now been discharged from Liverpool Women's Hospital. Sarah said of the experience, "I can't even describe my emotions. It was amazing. It was unbelievable." Well, that's all for this week. For regular updates and information on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.